our fourth and final matchup of tonight. It is going to be a really cool one. We've got Royal Flush, the Summer Cup host, versus Ryooo, a up-and-coming French legend.
Yeah, and both players are 1-1 coming into this match. So with 1 win and 1 loss, this is going to be another situation where they're playing for the second and third seeds. Catnip went out first in the group with 2 wins, but however this match ends, if Ryooo is able to win or tie, they will go through in the second seed. If Royal Flush is able to beat Ryooo here, then Royal Flush will be the one to take that slot. And Kletos in the chat has just been kind enough to tell me that's not pronounced Ryooo. It is in fact pronounced Ryooo.
Ryooo. Well, it's what he's saying. Ryooo. I don't know if that's correct. I always do forget.
Is it like a bear rar? Is it all on how you say it? I think. Ryooo, look, with the way Ryoo's been playing, I'll call them whatever they want. It's in a very small sample in SCL, for example, just playing half the season, but almost an 80% SPY win rate. So you never know when someone joins late and basically sweeps how good they are. We've seen this throughout this tournament and other SpyParty tournaments when someone joins in week 7 or later and they don't have to play the top competition, but they go 4-0 or 5-0 or 3-1 or something like that. The question is, how good are they? And you start to find out in matches like this.
Yeah, so just for a heads up, also playing in the single limb challenger bracket, Ryooo is the correct pronunciation, has gone 9-2 in their first game, 9-1 in their second game, and then played an intense series against DeGran, going 9-8, winning out in the tiebreaker matchup. Now going to be playing against Turnip Boy in the quarterfinals, so another pretty exciting SCL challenger matchup. But before we get there, we get to see, one of the oldest competitive players currently competing in the gold division up against an up-and-comer here, and it all decides who exits Group H as well. So I'm excited to get on into this game.
As am I. Ryooo is starting things off on the SPY side of Ballroom here. Royal Flush, who needs the win instead of just the draw, is going to be starting things off on the Sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
For anyone who's looking for more action after this, I'm told if you head on into the lobby, you actually get to live spectate Ryooo versus Turnip Boy. But, of course, we've got this to talk about before then.
32% on the first flirt is not as much as you might be able to get, but it's still enough for a 3 flirt if we get nice and snuggly on the next 2.
Yeah, and you mentioned that Royal Flush, a longtime user, he actually just a couple months ago celebrated his 5-year anniversary in the beta and is actually a classical pianist as well.
And nice and snuggly is exactly what we do, but it doesn't necessarily matter because the next flirt is green and takes us up to 83%. Any flirt will do. At this point, the bug dog side coming into the green bookcase. That was flawless.
My headcanon for this is that the dog does it for you. I like to imagine that. Please don't correct me. I don't want it. But heck of a bug, mostly off screen. It's another one of those random could have bugged ballroom bugs, but you see half a dozen of those a game.
Oh man, that is a huge start for Ryooo. Stepping into a nice distance for the last flirt here to avoid suspicion. 2 completions, 2 minutes to play. This is looking really good for Ryooo.
Yeah, you get away with the bug on ballroom, and the Sniper's either going to have to make a heck of a shot, or you're going to win. But, should be noted, Royal Flush exceptionally strong on ballroom. And Absolutely. I mean exceptionally. The numbers are very strong in their other competitions.
Oh, Double Agent steps away before we're able to get the contact off. Luckily, we hadn't started it yet, so...
I'd get these inspects done now, and Banana Bread with a little under a minute left.
That looks like Ryooo disagrees and steps in for the contact early. Here we go. It is a white test.
Banana bread.
A fairly quick white test, though. And the green purloin on the back end of it. Ryooo steps away, doesn't even touch the statues, has not been highlight yet.
Yeah, it's not going to work. Yeah, they're in big trouble. So many lowlights coming off. They were so aggressive getting those lowlights. I really don't even think the reject was caught at all.
And wasn't the reject Smallman? I think Ryoo's won this.
Yeah.
Here's the take. It's a low light, so might not even be watching it.
Just now maybe seeing it, not zoomed in. Yeah, it's over.
This is Ryoo's game. Wow, what a start. What a start from Ryooo.
So that's interesting. You have 3 decisions when you think you've gotten away with that bug. One is you play the standard game, right? You banana bread, you go to statues. The other is you play a silent game. You go to statues and you do something like that, like the purloin. The third is that you play a statueless game, and that's exactly what Ryooo did. And it works. You know, some people are very reliant on that statue thing. Sometimes you can do so many things and they can be 95% sure you did them, but they want to see you go to statues before they actually take the shot, and they feel weirdly comfortable holding their shot. Otherwise, that appears to be the case here. Just not quick enough on the purloin either.
That's a fantastic green purloin. Not only do you get a small man reject, which I know a lot of old guard players consider small man the most suspicious character in the game and will weight heavily their shots towards him, but then you get a reject from pearls as well. You basically have a scenario where, including Ryooo, that's 3 rejects. I don't know if there was a reject before then. It looks like Toby spent a long time just offering drinks and no one actually took a drink for the longest of times. Holy moly, this is a giant reject train. Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
Rocker beforehand. Okay, yeah. So there was a couple of rejects beforehand, a couple of takes, but the fact that your last mission take is green purloin, and you get 2 rejects, and you feed the classic narrative that Smallman is the spy into an old guard player's mind. There's just no way anyone could make that shot unless they're Yerend. Yeren's the only person.
Yeah, well, right. Well, that's a horrendous waste. Now that you mention all that, I actually kind of feel bad because I'm pretty sure boring old white or red purloin would have worked just as well. They were getting so many lowlights and they would have only had a few to react. I think a red purloin would have won the game too.
Yeah, there's definitely potential. Stepping into the spy role, playing Rocker here, one of the most unassuming characters. When surveyed who's the most unassuming character, people forgot to list Rocker as a spy character. And so she automatically won. So let's see what happens.
In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
SpyParty, the odd game where someone in a leopard print shirt is considered unassuming.
You're not wrong. Royal Flush starting things off at the back statues here in the center. Might be staggered enough with Cowboy to... Never mind, he's just going to put it down after 1 cycle. So now we can definitely get all the inspects.
And Ryooo seems particularly suspicious of possible bugs. Obviously, the Ambassador in a very vulnerable position there, too. Good camera work, good focus there.
Seduction target, unfortunately, decides to step away before we're able to get the flirt off. Ooh, a very bold walking bug attempt going opposite directions from the Ambassador, but doesn't wind up taking. I don't think it wound up being seen either as we pick up the briefcase for a fingerprint. Now stepping in, that was a long and slightly weird briefcase, but now picking up the green book for the final fingerprint and stepping away with it.
I like this decision here. They had no flirt progress done, even though a lot of good progress otherwise, so why not go get a flirt and use the book as an excuse to break it up and make the second flirt less suspicious. I really like spacing things out like that. The book gives you a reason to do it. This is a little more aggressive than I would like with the speed, but I like the decision, especially knowing that you had no flirt with about 2 minutes on the clock.
Absolutely. Unusual situation and a good way to rectify it. First flirt, netted Royal Flush 34%. Looking to chase down the second here. And just takes a bullet for it, actually. Ryooo.
Wow.
Going up 2 games.
So multiple times there that Royal Flush walked past the Ambassador. Once was an attempt at a bug. There was multiple times the Ambassador walked in a position where a reverse drive-by bug would have taken. And just before the shot was taken, again, just another path and a very classic position that bugs happen behind that pillar where the sniper can't really get a good view of the arm. And I think Ryooo at this point was just so suspicious that the shot had to come through.
Yeah, well, Ryooo, I mentioned in the beginning of the game, was really focused intently on the Ambassador. So even if a bug doesn't take, they're certainly going to be in a position to think maybe one did. They're going to notice the people taking those paths at least, and you have to credit it sometimes on Ballroom.
Stepping into Courtyard for the next one, Royal Flush not only needs the win and not just the draw, but finds himself down 2 games early on. Now stepping into the sniper side of Courtyard, traditionally quite a nice map to start a comeback on if you're playing the sniper side. Let's see if that actually happens with some of the games we've seen today. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, I think we need to stop that narrative. Every time I start a comeback on Courtyard, it's spy related, and every broadcast so far seems to agree with that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You might not be... Well, we're just going to start things off with the green purloin at the windows. This is the kind of thing that is sometimes amazing and usually just gets you shot. But it's sometimes amazing.
I'm going to say amazing this time.
Yeah, it seems that way.
I think this is going to be clean, and I think they're going to win this game if they don't screw anything up at this point.
Just highlight Toby and then realize the list wasn't there.
That's pretty funny. Oh, highlight Toby as if to say, I think this waiter guy might have been involved.
Lots of low-lighting people up and down. Ryooo does eventually wind up with the highlight, but it was very nearly the other way. Royal Flush is very unsure about how this went down, but has made some good decisions off the back of it.
So the banana bread is the only big hurdle to get over here at this point. If you can time it well, it's going to be very, very hard for Royal Flush to shoot. You really get the impression that low light highlight process was really just sort of rethinking, probably not super confident now about the suspects.
Indeed. Well, Ryooo just hanging out here waiting for a timer flirt, has plenty of time to do it. Hits a white test on it to bring himself up to 85%. Still 1:25 to play, and the hard tell and the statue visit are both done.
And a neutral light, I think that confirms what I was saying earlier about not being super confident. Sometimes when you have 2 or 3 highlights after a purloin, you really got it down to the 3 of them and you're waiting for them to do something. In this case, feels like more of an educated guess.
Absolutely. This is a prime situation for Ryooo. The double agent might cause some problems. I'm a little bit worried about taking the extra timer flirt, and indeed the seduction target just steps away instead. 50 seconds to play.
Now, you could still take a desperate shot on the banana bread, but if you can get a decent one off, get a couple people in with you, it just doesn't feel like Royal Flush is going to be able to shoot, especially bumping that highlight down to a neutral light for hanging out in that conversation for a little bit.
Absolutely. And the shot comes off. It's not the correct one. And 3 games in, Royal Flush already has his back against the wall.
I didn't say anything at the time, but it was really interesting seeing that Teal got a highlight for statue visit about a minute after the purloin. That feels more like a spy move, is to get away with the purloin, wait a while, and then when nobody gets shot, decide, yes, you're going to finish missions and do the risky statue visit. It's just such a spy move, and if you're not confident about where that purloin came from, you're going to start falling back on that sort of halfway behavioralism, and that's the result.
I have to say, though, I was really impressed with the process after the guest list was noticed gone by Royal Flush, essentially going, well, I didn't see it happen. I can't really lowlight anyone for this. So keeps his lowlights very minimum, and then keeps anyone who's actually got any progress, such as statue visitors, as highlights. However, like you mentioned, the story line for Teal just made too much sense. Lay low in a conversation with the ambassador on the other side of the conversation, doesn't contact when a double agent joins the conversation, goes to statues. Surprising that you do shoot without the contact, but potentially the fact that you did see her in a conversation with the ambassador early means that you also fear the fact that a bug could have happened as well, and so you just you take that shot when you see the talk animation. Justified shot, a very difficult game to come back from for Royal Flush, and now maybe we write the new Courtyard narrative, Dowsey's Courtyard narrative of Spy wins on Courtyard for days. We'll have to see if Royal Flush can do it.
Well, Spy wins on Courtyard are a very, very good way to get a leg up on your opponent. And Ryooo just found a big one. But Royal Flush is now in a situation where he needs 5 games in a row. He needs to win out the rest of this set. It's a tall order, but this is where it has to start. On the Spy side of Courtyard in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I'll echo what you said about Royal Flush. A lot of us can miss a mission, certainly, but how you respond to that determines whether or not you're going to pull some of these games out, even after you're behind. You can do the right thing and maximize your chances and still lose, and I think that's kind of what happened with Royal Flush there. They may have lost the game, but once you start measuring from that failure to catch the purloin, they actually did a decent job of giving themselves the best possible chance to come back.
Fake contact to open things up, lets off, I think, 3 lowlights. One of them was a statue highlight early on. A real one, and then a split.
Oh, that looked so good from the sniper side. Wow, I'm really impressed by that highlight. It looked so much like Alice was at the window almost the whole time because they went around the window. Ryooo was looking on the other side, and then by the time they came back over, she was back there after the banana bread. I'm really impressed she didn't get low lit, and even more impressed that she got a highlight.
Well, got bumped back down to neutral, and then she went to statues and got highlight. But after the 2 inspects, we also hit a green swap.
I don't think that's going to work quite as well.
I don't think so either. It's going to come off pretty quickly, and it's a low light that takes it.
I think Royal Flush is hoping they have a low light for that really good split and testing it immediately with a swap, which actually makes a lot of sense. I think this is a good move that's just not going to quite work.
Here we go. Swap gets swapped.
Off screen.
Off screen indeed. Hasn't happened yet. The bug comes off.
Didn't swing around to see the statue.
Yeah, still hasn't noticed. 3 seconds.
They're going to win this.
2 seconds. No time. And Royal Flush, with still 1 minute and 13 left on the clock, finds the win on the Spy side. Track, we have only had 1 sniper win on this map this entire broadcast.
Yeah, and that's a Spy win on Courtyard with 0% on the Seduce, by the way. only 2 soft tells. I think the plan there from Royal Flush was I'm going to do a really good split to windows, and then I'm going to immediately burn them if I got low lit. I think that's a decent move. It just turns out they were not low lit at all, but the swap works anyway. The weird thing about a low light swapping, it's bad because obviously they're going to know they couldn't have been the actual swapper if they see it and you're dead. On the other hand, the good thing is when a low light approaches statues, sometimes the sniper doesn't take notice as a result. And in that case, you can see Ryooo start to rotate, almost bring the statue into view after it's changed, but not quite. And simultaneously, the rotate was far enough that the bug wasn't seen, but not far enough to see the swap. It was a sweet spot right between the two that allowed Royal Flush to win the game with their back against the wall.
And not only that, and this is super rare, Ryooo puts the statue back at 2:04 on the clock. And the statue gets swapped at 1:32 on the clock. That's a whole 30 seconds. 30 seconds for a swap to happen. Like you mentioned, yeah, about as long as it's ever going to take. Also, another blessing in this game, another EU-only matchup. Royal Flush living in the UK, Ryooo based in France, about as close as you get as well for European countries. And you can trust laser latency to some degree. You can just see Royal Flush watching the laser rotate around the statue. As soon as it's on the other side, he goes for the bug immediately. and as we know, completely off camera for Ryooo. So really good intuition from Royal Flush, and the comeback starts now.
Yeah, I gotta echo what you said though. So you talked about how I mentioned earlier rather that you don't necessarily notice when a low light approaches a statue. Combine that with the unusually long delay and the possibility of having to watch for a green swap. It's almost non-existent in your mind between those two things.
Man, after so long of Courtyard being the sniper win map, we were talking before Steam Early Access happened about how we thought that the new players coming in were going to shake up the meta. This is one that nobody predicted.
That's a very good point. It's a very good point. And they're coming at it in atypical ways. They're not just doing good bugs or hitting green purloins or whatever. They're saying, I'm going to do a silent Courtyard game, I'm going to do a statueless Courtyard game, and I'm going to do a seduceless Courtyard game, which actually seems like the craziest of the three.
I am loving watching this so far, but Royal Flush is now on the board. This is how the comeback starts, as Dowsy was saying, but now it needs to continue on the sniper side of Library. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Still a very long way to go.
Indeed. No one ever said it would be easy.
Whoa!
Well, there goes the comeback.
Oh, wow, look at this. Look at this. Hang on. It's at 350. Look at her idle animation. Look at the hand fly out. 350. Looks like a bug. Really looks like a bug.
Oh,
Sniper
wow.
snaps
Jesus,
back to
yeah,
it.
it does.
Around the Sim,
Yep.
it happens as well. Just
Yeah.
staring it down.
That is it.
That's
Yeah, that looks like a bug.
Yeah, I see it. Wow, that's it's a crazy set of circumstances. Unfortunately, though, for Royal Flush, that locks him out of the series. Ryooo takes a 4th point on the board. All they needed was a tie or a win here. And with that missed shot from Royal Flush, that sends Ryooo through the groups.
Do it eventually.
I'll do it. Don't worry.
You'll get there. Look, I can understand that does look like a bug, and the best version of that game from Royal Flush at that point is probably just one where they're tunneling on that character all game and the outcome is the same, or at least the spy's getting something done. That's fine. On the other hand, this is it. Your season's over here in this tournament. If you don't win this game, there's no reason to shoot.
But, this is still a match format. Imagine what you're going to do to Ryooo. Ryooo.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Ryooo. Yeah, we got there.
Ryooo. Like the movie. Yeah, there we go. Like De Janeiro. That's how
there we go. We just have to stop imagining the wires and start thinking about Brazil.
Yeah, there it is.
Speaking of, imagine 7-1. Could that happen? No, okay, sorry.
Let's see.
Well, we'll find out as Royal Flush takes the stage on the spy side of Library. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Just for funsies this time, insofar as a SpyParty game can be fun rather than incredibly, horribly stressful. It's sort of both. It's sort of both, though, isn't it? It is fun, but it's a very specific kind.
Super early white swap. I think before the statue gets memorized, there's too much to watch at the beginning of these games. And Royal Flush, though he may take the highlight, I highly doubt he'll take a bullet for that.
I think that's a good decision. And normally I'd be tempted to say, I'd normally be tempted to say, YOLO, whatever the matter. But on the other hand, Royal Flush plays a pretty aggressive spy most of the time. So I think that's keeping a character. That bug, on the other hand, maybe less.
Oh, that bug! I was on camera, too.
Okay.
360s out of the conversation.
We know what's going on here. This is rush.
Hey, he got low lit for the split.
There we go. A little glory here at the end, I think, probably. Now into a purloin, right? Got a purloin.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, you could seduce, but isn't the whole point here to kind of make a statement?
Just time ad twice right in front of the laser.
How about that? No, it'd be time add once from each pad where you can time add. What's that, like 4, 5? Yeah, 5.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like 3, 4. And there's the white test Purloin, which is pretty much the only way you can lose at this point. Only way you can lose. Oh boy, it's close.
I think it's okay. I think it's okay.
I think he kind of saw it actually, but kind of figured why even shoot? Because that's pretty much the only way you lose that game.
That's the classic narrative, and you've talked about this before, about the fact that often people know the difference between a white test and a green test fade on the Purloin. But if it's a low light, who gets the white test?
You talk yourself out of it.
You talk yourself out of it so often. and you can see from
it's a low light, so that had to be green, right? You expect a green, yeah.
And so the sniper cam starts tilting. He's like, "Where's the person who could have green tested this? I can't see them behind the pillar. Like, is this a pillar strat happening? I don't understand." And so you talk yourself out of the fact that it was a white fade. So really strong stuff.
I would just like to point out.
How long was it?
The game got finished on library with no time ads, with 2.5 minutes left to play.
Otherwise known as as an entire game of terrorists.
Somebody. How do you shoot somebody with 2.5 minutes left to play?
Well, you asked that, Tobo, but I would also ask, how do you shoot someone in the first 20 seconds of the library game, and yet that happens? So, timing not always a factor, apparently.
Yeah, minute and 27 seconds win there. Pretty impressive stuff.
Well, I guess Royal Flush figures if he can't get himself into the knockout bracket, he can at least show off a bit while he has the chance.
I'll just knock him out.
Stepping in to the sniper side of pub in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I like him having fun, but again, it wasn't that out of character. I think a couple of those things were out of character. The bug probably wouldn't have happened, but the swap, that's something Royal Flush would absolutely normally do.
Yeah, this is very true. Ryooo starting things out. Ooh, just barely gets the flirt off at the window there for 34%. And now looks like he's chasing all the way back to the conversation for the next one. Ooh, not a great entry. And the double A, and the red flirt. That's sadness. Alright, that's fine.
It'll be fine. You got some wins to spare here.
Yeah. You've got all the wins to spare at this point. You could, like, stop playing the game and go to a literal pub.
Leave it under AI control.
Yeah.
Yeah, come back to BB at 15 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
Go out for a pint.
Very slow game from Ryooo here.
And I would get something done. I mean, treat it like high-level practice that you can't actually replicate in practice. Try a bug you don't normally try, right? Do something.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, man, this seduction target is not being too kind.
Yeah, it's time to start thinking about other ways to win this game if you're even interested in completing.
Minute and 40 seconds left to play as we step into the bar to drink away our sorrows. Had to go at a reverse drive-by bug there. Did not take, but the arm was completely hidden behind that pillar.
I think given the score of the match, it's more like a celebratory drink, probably.
Yeah, but you get spurned like this.
Yeah, that's true.
Sting.
It's pretty bad. Yeah, don't you know who I am? I'm winning this match.
Oh, God. Well, Purloin decided not to delegate and just got dinged for it.
It was just hanging out there too long. It was obviously not a delegate.
Yeah. Well, Royal Flush, soon as he goes down, he can still tie the set here, playing unburdened from the spy side of the pub in our last game of the evening in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Oh, I accidentally pressed Control N instead of instead of spacebar. You have to apologize. It is getting late here in Europe, and my brain wires aren't connected.
That particular one isn't something I've done before, but I suppose it's only a matter of time.
3, 2, 1, game over. All right.
All right. Let's make this happen. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Now, in Dowsy's defense, he's been casting and hosting a lot of these, and this is it, ladies and gentlemen, I believe. The last match, last game of the group stages. After this, it's all sudden death.
Indeed. The stakes get very high very fast. Slow start from Royal Flush. Hasn't been able to get any flirts off yet, or any progress at all, really, after the first 30 seconds. Just hanging out in an innocent conversation.
That's usually what happens at pub, seems like, especially in the beginning.
You're not wrong.
You get a flirt sometimes, that's about it. Not much else.
Well, decided to transfer over to the conversation with the double agent in it. The double agent bailed to be replaced by the seduction target.
Fine, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a decent trade.
Yeah, we take those. 32% off of the first flirt. 2 minutes and 15 left to play, so not a lot of progress for the time we've spent. Two minutes now left to play. Just waiting on the timer flirt, it looks like. And we're going to need a green test from this distance if we get the time. Oh, God, there she goes.
Banana bread.
Clearly not trying to finish here, especially with that fake right there. Who are they going to try to get shot? That's the question.
Oh, the two highlights right now.
Ooh, that'll change your mind. That'll change your mind if you get away with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's the problem. You got away with this at 90 seconds. That's right on the line of what's viable. So you have to say, do you actually have time to finish? And look, they're saying, okay, now maybe the plans have changed.
66% on the flirt. That's still doable for a close white.
When you get away with an early bug, you can plan everything out nice and easy. But when you get away with a bug with between 1 and 2 minutes left and you don't have much mission progress, especially on something like Flirt, ooh, look at that camera shake. Especially with something like Flirt, you have to decide immediately, am I going to try to finish after all? And based on the fact they went over and flirted immediately, it seems like maybe still.
Double agents right there. 1 minute left to play. We could go bug and then statue and then away. But with Pearls getting scope danced.
Yes, scope danced is right. If she does anything, but she's not shot yet, right? She's not shot for just the statue, and the banana bread has already come off potentially. So what's it going to be? Walk into a conversation and talk?
Royal Flush, I think, may have changed their mind again because he's not moving.
Yeah, the game is a little schizophrenic right now. Don't do anything. Well, I got away with the bug. Maybe I'll finish. Well, maybe not.
Does Pearls talk? That is the question.
That's probably the way they win this game.
15 seconds. No talk yet. It's not going to happen.
Nope, it's not going to happen before 10, and there'll be no reason to shoot now.
Finally, she talks, but it's not enough. Royal
time to time, Ed.
steps away, but doesn't have anything to do. Time runs out, and Ryooo wins the match 5-3.
So we see a lot of timeouts on pub, and one of the underrated reasons why is that a lot of spies sort of forget, myself included, that sometimes you are actually nowhere near a window. So even if you want to rush a late time ad, you can't actually do it. And yeah, the result here, Royal Flush losing out in the group stages for the second straight year, by the way. Made it in Summer Cup 2016, but lost in the first round to KCM 6-1. But misses the actual knockout bracket 2 years in a row here. Certainly a valiant effort and some very strong individual games, but just too many strong newcomers, I think, this time dipped their toes into the pool of the Summer Cup.
So the one thing I would like to say is, like, just watching back that replay on high speed, the first 2 minutes of the game is 100% just Royal Flush surveying the party and looking at the rest of the party for potential frame targets, because it just didn't look like he was going to complete. Then the bug happens. It's a gift from the heavens, and you can see he immediately goes to get the flirt done. But you look at up at the clock after you've done your second flirt and go, okay, I've got 1 minute and 20 seconds, and I need to go to statues, I need to contact, and then I need to flirt again. That's going to look very speedy, potentially get me shot again. And so it seems like Royal Flush goes immediately back to plan A, which is try and force the shot into someone. But unfortunately, at this point, you've already changed your mind too many times and potentially lost track of the party, and you just don't know who to frame. And so that game just felt like a case of mistaken identity, not confident on the original plan due to the fact that, a circumstance was changed in front of us. But I think regardless, a really fun strat.
Right? Yeah, so I think it's a really good decision because, as you mentioned, it kind of changed their mind back and forth. But you only have a moment to kind of make those decisions. So I think it's really good that he went and got the flirt sort of before deciding, because that's so low risk. It's such a low risk way to leave those options open and then give yourself, while you're waiting for the timer flirter deciding what to do next, you take a good 5 or 10 seconds and game it out. Like you just said, think, what do I have to get done? But if you hesitate and you don't even get that flirt in at all, then the choice is made for you potentially. So I actually think Royal Flush played that really well. An opportunity came along, they took it, they kept progress moving forward, and then when they had to wait for a couple seconds anyway to decide what to do next, they reevaluate their options. Makes a lot of sense. Good high-level decision-making, at least, from the experienced player, which is what you expect to see.
Yeah, with that, here you go, guys. The list of people advancing has now been locked in. In first place in Group A, it's Yeesh. Second place, Lazy Bear. In Group B, first place is Namfless. Second place, Artoriax. First place for Group C is Turnip Boy. Second place, Alex Air. First place in Group D is the infamous Stroey, with second place, JY. Group E, a surprising result. Frosty goes through in first place over Banding Pig, who comes second. Another surprising result in Group F. Belial upsets Pox by taking first place off of Pox, but Pox will exit in the second. And then Group G, Yerend comes through as first, Pofke as second, and as we just witnessed in Group H, the result is Catnip first, with Ryooo coming through as second. So those are your group advances in the Summer Cup. The 16 competitors that will move on to the round of 16. We've had an excellent time broadcasting the group stages. We got to cast overall half of the matches played, which I was really excited about the possibility of doing. But things are about to get crazy, Warning Track. And Tobo, of course, but I speak to Warning Track because he's essentially got to get a peer into the craziness of my mind over the last couple of weeks and how far I'm willing to go sleep deprived.
Yeah, a little too crazy. I'm a little concerned for you, frankly. I think we originally were even wondering, I wonder if we can cast every single one of them. And I didn't want to dissuade you, but privately I thought, oh my God, he's out of his mind. Yeah, I'm looking at this. I'll have to check my spreadsheet, but I think I got something like 12 of the 16 eventual finalists correct. And the ones who are upsets are playing so well right now. We talked about seeding earlier and how important it is, but I'm looking at this bracket and I just don't see easy games.
Yeah,
this is going to be brutal.
Here's the round of 16 bracket revealed for anyone who hasn't checked it out yet. Yeesh will play Artoriax, Turnip Boy will play JY, Frosty will play Pox, Yerend will play Ryooo, Lazy Bear will play Namfless, Alex Air will play Dalsy, Banding Pig will play Belial, and Pofke will play Catnip. And whilst you will predict a winner in each one of those individual matchups, they honestly can go either way. Like you may choose your favorite in every one of those matchups, but honestly, I think every one of those matchups could go either way.
Yeah, I would choose your favorite coin maybe and flip it and just see what happens. And the outcome is going to be about the same. This is as good as mine, maybe better. I just don't know what to expect. I'm going to make my guesses anyway, like everyone else, but I don't feel confident about any of these.
No, it's going to be really interesting. Next week on Tuesday the 14th, at the same time, 11 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Pacific. You can join myself, Royal Flush, and Crazy Kaylee. We'll recap group stage predictions and then go through this knockout stage bracket and predict a winner. And also, if you check Discord, the SpyParty Discord, invite code SpyParty, I will be putting out a refreshed prediction sheet. I might even do it in a form of a Google form if I can manipulate it to work, so that I can get a whole lot of community predictions on who potentially may win the Summer Cup 2018. Also, an interesting development. Speaking about my crazy brain, it appears Ryooo Flush could just be as insane as I am, because we've been discussing this off for during this week, and it's finally come through. Ryooo Flush has decided for the remaining 16 competitors that they are not to announce their game times to be played. They have to keep them a secret. So, if you see a game playing in the lobby, sure, spectate it, but there's going to be no warning of those games being played. And then the replays are to be submitted privately to Ryooo Flush as well, because next week we'll be kicking off the knockout stage broadcast, and we'll cast every one of these 8 matchups as if they are live, and no one will know the results beforehand. So you have to tune in to the Summer Cup broadcast if you want to find out the results of the knockout stage. So that's pretty exciting.
That's going to be hype.
And it's appropriate.
So hype.
It's appropriate because, well, this is the one time though where we don't know what's going to happen anyway with those matchups. So you don't get to either. Nobody gets to know until we actually see them. They're that hard to predict. You're just going to have to tune in to find out.
It's an appropriate. A tournament with a prize pool is also a tournament where the results are kept private until broadcast days. So next week, Tuesday the 14th, we'll have our predictions cast. Myself, Ryooo Flush, and Crazy Kaylee will go through the knockout stage and predict who we think will win. And then on Wednesday, we'll commence the first half of the round of 16 knockout stage games. Thursday will be, I guess, a special broadcast day, since we're doing one extra. We'll do the second half of the knockout stage games. And then by the end of Thursday, everyone will know what the quarterfinals will look like, and then we'll start it all over again the following week, with no results being posted and everything being broadcast for the first time on the SpyParty Twitch channel. So if you're excited for Summer Cup as much as the rest of us here are, make sure you hit that follow button on the Twitch channel. We try to set up events so that it makes it easier, but it's always 11 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Pacific, and I'm sure you guys can figure out what it is where you live based on those two time zones alone. I've had a lot of fun bringing you the action here for the group stages. Thanks to everyone who's got involved, and it only gets more exciting from this point onwards, folks. It's a knockout stage. The map pool is going to consistently change throughout the knockout stage. We've done ballroom, courtyard, library, and pub for all the group stage matches. Well, this round of 16 involves veranda. It involves 3 out of 5 pub. And then it involves library, courtyard, and ballroom. It changes again for the second round of knockout stages, so you have to keep on your toes. And I'm looking forward to bringing you that action as well next week. So on behalf of everyone involved in the Summer Cup, and of course our beautiful casting pair here, Warning Track and Taboshi, thanks so much for watching tonight. I hope you guys tune in next week for the start of the knockout stage, and I hope you guys are ready for the Summer Cup 2018 as we start to close towards a winner. We'll see you all next week. For that, signing out.